Told you that Trump just did something that could change the US banking system in a big way, but no one is talking about it. Now, for the first time ever, the US government officially backs digital assets and safe coins, and they want banks to play a big part in this. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent just said, "We will use stablecoins to keep the US dollar the world's most important reserve currency." But now things get really interesting. They can do this in two ways. One is a system where the government controls everything, and the other could take us back to a time more than 200 years ago when banks competed to make their own money. Some people call this a confusing system, while others say it was one of the most innovative times in the history of money. The big question now is free banking going to come back? If so, what does that mean for you? This movie, on the other hand, will explain exactly what's going on, why the government is pushing this at this time, and how it will create one of the best chances to get rich this decade. So here's the deal for all of you great people. We now know that Trump wants to rebuild the US banking system from the ground up. He is changing the way taxes work. He's talking about reducing taxes on income and raising tariffs. He's talking about using steady coins instead of fiat money. He wants to give banks more freedom to run their own businesses. I'd like to talk to you today about how this all connects to XRP, the only cryptocurrency company that has been backed by Trump and is currently working on RLUSD as a stablecoin. This will be great for the US financial system and other financial systems around the world, and it will also make your fiat currency more flexible so that you can make transactions faster. To make this happen, banks will soon start releasing RLUSD and other stablecoins, and if you own XRP, this should make you very happy because it means that deals worth trillions of dollars will be possible on the XRP ledger. This will of course lead to more people using XRP and raise its value. We're now going to talk more about how this whole banking system will change over time. After that, I'll talk about how it will affect XRP. Hit the like button so everyone can see it and pay attention because things are about to get very hot. Let's break this down. Why does the US government want steady coins all of a sudden? Why now? Even more seriously, why is Trump in charge of all this? But when the White House Digital Assets Summit met last week, it all became very clear. And this big news came from Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. He said, "We will use stable coins to keep the US dollar as the world's main reserve currency." Equals. Put an end to the quote. Let me take a moment to think about that. That's pretty big. The US government has either ignored cryptocurrencies for years or has been fighting them. Their arms are now around them, though. They are excited about stable coins. So why? Some of the time it's because they have no other choice. As you can see, the US dollar is in much greater danger than ever before. The rate of inflation has been getting out of hand. Trade around the world is moving away from the dollar. People outside of China are being pushed hard to use its currency. The BRICS countries are trying to make their own currencies, and China is trying to make the ECNY, their own safe coin. This is what they want to do to get around US financial penalties. The people around the world still want dollars, even though some countries might want to move away from the US dollar and use their own money instead. In fact, they really need money. So Trump and Bessent want to get dollars into the hands of people all over the world. They see stablecoins as a way to do this, to weaponize digital dollars and keep the dollar as the world's main currency in this age of crypto. Now comes the crazy part. Almost all stablecoins today are already backed by the dollar. But right now, all of these stablecoins are being made by private companies like Tether and Circle instead of US banks. This is a problem for the US banking group, as they're known. That's what Trump wants to change. The US government wants American banks to start making their own stablecoins instead of depending on random companies in other countries. These coins will be fully backed, regulated, and built into the banking system. Things get even stranger from here. This idea isn't some far-off dream, as if it were already happening, like now. Behind the scenes, Trump has already begun to make big moves that will make this. Congress is making new laws to deal with this. The US government is already changing its mind about crypto. The big banks are also getting ready for what's to come because this regime change is happening faster than anyone thought it would. Yes. One thing I will say is that our private trading group has been looking forward to this for a while now, and we've been trading around a lot of the ups and downs that come with a new financial system that is still being built. All of you know about it. And along the way, we've been making a huge amount of money. You can see right here that I share all of my trades, all of my exits, and all of my gains. Some deals ended with gains of 50%, 100%, and 24%. I just closed 2 deals that were up 61% and 18% respectively. Plus, a lot more is on the way. I want to make sure that you can access all of these moves so that you can make money during the crazy times that the markets will be going through in 2025 and 2026. We work with 2 platforms, BTCC and BitNX. If that sounds good to you, sign up for one of them and then follow the 3-step process for Crypto Crusaders below. Let's watch the video again to get a better idea of what the Trump government is doing for stablecoins like Ripple to be used in the world market. President Trump has told us to use stablecoins to keep the US dollar as the world's main reserve currency, she said. That quote should tell you everything you need to know. It's now official. The US government is supporting digital assets like US dollar stable coins. This isn't to fight crypto, but to keep the dollar strong. Next, Trump signed an order just a few days after the summit finished that set up what he calls a strategic Bitcoin reserve and a US digital asset stockpile. Even though that sounds exciting, the real action is hidden in the small print. It was made clear by Treasury Secretary Bessent that this order tells banks and the government to change their rules on taxes and banking to favor stable coins. To begin, the Treasury will change and send again all earlier guidance that makes it harder for digital asset markets to work. Second, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency will set up a way for national banks to accept stablecoins. That means 2 very important things. To begin, it shows that Trump isn't just talking. His team is almost certainly changing the rules right now. Also, this pretty much proves that banks are about to be given permission to start making their own stablecoins. In the meantime, Congress is already working on the laws that will make this real. At the beginning of 2025, lawmakers brought up 2 big bills. One was named the Genius Act and the other was named the Stable Act. Now, both of these bills are meant to set up a government system for stablecoins. So the House passed the Stable Act, which says that companies that make stablecoins must keep a 1-to-1 reserve in U.S. treasuries or cash accounts. There is also the Genius Act, which was passed by the Senate and lets national banks and other financial institutions issue and pay stablecoins while being supervised by the OCC. The best part is now here. Trump isn't going to wait for these things, right? He wants a stablecoin bill to be on his desk by August from Congress. Trump himself said we want digital dollars to be made by American banks, not by foreign companies or radical government officials. This needs to be done by Congress. End quote. Now, for this plan to work, the government needs to stop fighting crypto and start working with it. Also, guess what? That's exactly what's going on. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, OCC, just gave the go-ahead for national banks to start making their own stablecoins. To get more people to use crypto, they told the IRS, Internal Revenue Service, to start rolling back strict tax rules.